So I have a question for you. Have you ever opened up Premiere Pro or After Effects, but your brain just immediately shut off? You had no idea what to animate or even where to start your project. And did you also notice that editing doesn't feel like creating anymore, but more like an ongoing battle with your own brain? And have you ever looked at other editors' work, maybe on social media, and you thought, why are they so much more creative than me? What is their secret? Well, I'm so happy that you clicked on this video. So if this sounds anything like you, then make sure to not click off this video, because I'm going to show you how to become infinitely creative as a video editor today within 4 quick steps. All right, so I've been in the same shoes as well. I'm going to show you exactly how I broke out of being an uncreative editor and getting so little done in so much time, but getting so much done in so little time, and just getting so much more creative within my edits and within my animations. And just a quick disclaimer, this works in any niche. So if you're in gaming niche, if you're in the business niche, educational niche, dropshipping niche, whatever it is, this will work in any niche, what I'm about to show you in this video. So with that said, let's get into step number 1. Number 1 is be clear about your project. Now, what does that actually mean, being clear about my project? So with project, I mean either video or a series of videos. For example, it could be a one-time YouTube video that you're editing for a client, or it could be maybe a 3-series YouTube video or a whole course of videos for your client. So that means just make sure to be clear about your project, even if it's just one video or if it's like 10 different videos or multiple videos or infinite amount of videos, okay? But what does being clear actually mean? So the one thing you need to be sure and be clear about first is your audience. So you have to know your audience. This is super important, and you have to ask yourself every single video, with every single project that you're editing, or with every single client that you're working with, you have to ask yourself who is going to watch this video. So who is the person who will sit in front of his PC, or maybe sit in front of his iPhone, or maybe sit in front of his Samsung phone, or maybe sit in front of his Nintendo DS, or maybe his laptop, or his TV, and going to watch this video? Who is our audience? Who is going to be actually sitting down, who we are creating this video for, and going to watch this video for the first time? Those people are the ones who we are going to create the video for, our audience, okay? But so many people get this wrong, and this is why it's super important. Biggest mistake when I watch videos and give feedback to videos, and by the way, if you want to see one of my feedbacks that I gave for one of my students, then you can just go into my channel and just see a video titled I gave brutally honest feedback. Then you can see what feedbacks I give, and in there, I also repeat this a lot of times. I say you have to view from a viewer's perspective. Your video, you have to edit it from a viewer's perspective. Don't edit it from an editor's perspective, because I guess you are not making videos for an editing audience, but I guess you're making videos for a audience who is maybe wanting to learn or want to entertain themselves through the video that you're editing right now. So always have the viewer in mind. And this is why I have to ask yourself, like, who is going to watch this video? For example, if it's a gaming video, your audience might be 12 to 25-year-olds. So for a gaming audience, it's probably not going to be 50-year-old plus. So they most certainly will be more on the younger side. So that means you have to kind of get in the mind from 12 to 25-year-olds and make sure that your video kind of suits them, kind of speaks to their jokes and references from their everyday life. So 12 to 25-year-olds, you can make school, you can make university jokes, you can maybe make even skateboarding jokes, whatever the 12 to 25-year-olds consume nowadays, see nowadays, do nowadays, and outside of course, watching your video. And this is a superpower that you can use for yourself. You can literally kind of get into the brain of your viewer and create a video tailored to them. It sounds super weird. It does not really sound spiritual or something like that, but this is literally a superpower that so many people forget. So if I'm creating a software VSL, for example, for a 50-year-old audience versus a gaming video, it's a completely different audience. So I'm going to use completely different animation styles. I'm going to slow down a video for all the audience because they might be a bit slower and thinking more about the product itself instead of a gaming video, which happens very fast. And there's a different reason why we're creating a gaming video. It's probably entertainment. So this is completely different, and you have to understand who your viewer is. So in this case, if we take a fitness video, so your audience for a fitness video might be beginners who need clear instructions. So let's just assume you're working for a fitness channel and you're working right now on a video that talks about maybe arms and how to train arms. Then you might talk to beginners who do not understand how to work out their arms correctly or why it is important. So they won't probably understand what this guy is saying in the video. So your goal is to talk to beginners. So you have to explain it in a very easy term or make it very easy to understand with an animation on how to complete these movements as a beginner so they can follow it and even remember it for their lifetime, or at least until they go to the gym and just try out for themselves, or maybe in the gym and they can just kind of do it themselves. So this is just a very, very like niche example here. However, it's the same thing. If you talk to beginners, then you talk completely different sometimes than when you talk to experts. You talk to 12-year-olds completely different than you talk to 50-year-olds. So it is super important that you also complement that with your editing as well. So you don't put a million things on the screen whenever you talk to beginners, because beginners are going to be confused. If you talk to professionals, they can kind of just filter out, okay, well, this is, I know this already, yeah, this is just complimentary, but this is very important, I didn't know this, whatever. So it is very, very important that whenever you put something on screen, have always in mind, does this, what I put on screen, text, animation, does this give any value to my viewer, to my audience, or does it more confuse my audience? Or maybe if I confuse my audience with this, can I maybe explain it a little bit better or add an explanation to it? Or can I slow it down to make it more easier to watch and make it more easier to consume? So just for example, because understanding your audience helps you tailor the video's tone, style, and also the content, aka the animations or the music. So it is super important that you know who your audience is. And then once you know your audience, the next step is to understand the branding, okay? What is the branding? Well, so if you go on my YouTube channel, I'm going to show you exactly what branding actually is. So, for example, if we take Simon Squibb here, I go to his channel. The first thing I'm going to see is his yellow banner, okay? So this is his yellow banner and this black font. And if I scroll down, in his thumbnails, he has also a lot of yellow added to it. So I can assume for a fact that he uses yellow as his pop color, so his main color. And then of course he has white and he has black as well added to his color. And then a secondary color, he has probably this pinkish color. I'm not sure what this probably is. Maybe it's a bit more red. And this is his colors. And then I can just figure out his font. And I can also just figure out by the looks of his thumbnails, he has probably more of a simplistic style of thumbnails. Not simplistic, but more minimalistic. So it doesn't have like too much clutter. But I guess this is just all the thumbnails nowadays. But the banner itself as well just screams minimalistic and just simplicity to me. So this is what his style is right now, kind of his branding here. If I go to his newsletter website, if I go to the landing page, then you can also see this is like this yellow, this greenish color. So there is a lot of colors that we can pick from here and create a branding around his channel. So if he would be a client of mine, what I would do is just black, white, and yellow. So yellow is his main primary color, and then just this green maybe as his secondary color, or maybe this pinkish as his secondary color. And then of course go with this font in his banner. And then of course for his style, which is also go with minimalistic style, I would go with more simplicity and not go with too much colors and not just use too many crazy animations or 3D animations, because that just doesn't look like his brand, okay? I don't think that 2 million subscribers are coming for crazy animations, but rather if I go here, they're coming for the value, okay? They are here because he is showing a lot of value, a lot of free, I would say, gold nuggets that you can just take away in your life and just apply to your life. If it's AI, if it's starting a business and just growing it to 5K per month, which is pretty funny because this is why I also opened up the Video Editing Elite to help you go from 0 to 5K per month. So in case you also are struggling to find clients, join the Editing Elite because I'm going to exactly teach you in step-by-step how to get clients as a video editor. However, the first thing you want to do when you start working for a new client or when you work whatever with a client is research your client's branding. It is super important that you just go through the channel, or maybe if he has a branding kit, which is just a kit or a PDF file with his fonts, his colors, all his stuff that is around his branding, and then he sends you that. That is the most optimal outcome, of course. But if not, then I would just recommend to research the website, research the YouTube videos, research even their vlogs if they have some, or maybe whatever they have in the background. Like for example, for me, I have this slat wall in my background, and I have this orange color, and then I have, of course, a couple books. So you could already kind of figure out an orangey branding style that is minimalistic, maybe, or maybe elegant, fits the suit, or maybe a bit more dark as well. So I wouldn't do maybe white like the presentation here is. So it is up to you to figure out the client's branding. In case the client doesn't want to kind of like help you out with that, then this is your job. So you have to pay attention to fonts, colors, and design styles. So of course, minimal, luxurious, or bold. So I'm going to explain what that is. So fonts is super important that you don't pick a font that is just unfitting to your client. If you actually want a video where I talk more about design, about fonts, colors, and stuff like that, let me know. I can make a video about that. I don't want to waste too much time if you already know your thing. However, what I want you to do is pick one font for this client, and something that is like very fitting, very simplistic, minimalistic. I can recommend the San Francisco Pro. This is the Apple font. So if you type in Apple font, you will find it. And for the colors, I would always recommend black and white. Okay. And then just pick one more color, and preferably not too many, but maybe just one more if you want to as a secondary color, like to just sprinkle a couple of times on top. Or maybe if it's more of a colorful brand, then of course you can go a bit more colors. But even then, I would just recommend to have very, very, very like limited colors within your animations, because if you do too much, then it can be just become very, very cheap very fast. So we don't want to look cheap within our design if that's not really our goal. If your goal is to go more cheap and just more casual, whatever, I guess it can work, but I just recommend to not have too many colors and just look more professional, just look a bit more clean and minimalistic with that. And the next is design styles. So you have to think of it design styles like this. Think of it like if Ali Abdaal has this super friendly, minimalistic animations added to his videos, and then you have Magnets Media, on the other hand, he has 3D, he has this crazy After Effects animations project. So this is kind of like the design style that you have to think about. Okay, is this guy or girl who I'm working for actually more on the minimalistic side? What do they prefer? Did they actually give me something to work with? Did they give me some details? Did they give me some videos they liked, or a specific style that they liked? Most people say I want Iman Gadji style. So this is then, okay, I want cool motion graphics explaining my concept or explaining what I'm talking about in the video, so people are just engaged and hooked to the video. So then this is your goal, to figure out the branding, the fonts, the colors, and the elements that you add to the video, and then just to form the branding that looks good for his audience, essentially for this person that you're working for. So with that said, what I want you to do is match the video's vibe to the branding. And if they don't have a clear brand, use the recording setup or ask about their ideal audience. So if they have like a very simplistic branding, again, like Ali Abdaal has like a very simplistic, friendly like branding, then the whole video vibe is also friendly. So it's kind of like talks to a different audience again. And if it's more like a documentary channel, then it's more like mysterious. It's more like I'm hooked. The music is more cinematic. So you have a whole vibe that is like kind of like around his branding, okay? And then this is what you also want to show with your editing, what you want to complement with your editing. And I know you will have this question for me, so this is why I included here. What if they don't have a clear brand? Okay, well, if you don't have a clear brand, then use the recording setup. Again, I talked about this. Like, for example, here, my recording setup, you can use that as a brand. Or you can also, in case you're working with them and they don't mind you asking questions, then ask about their ideal audience and also ask more questions like what do they like? What videos do they enjoy? Do they want more minimalistic? What colors do they like? Etc. etc. So just ask about these questions and then you will figure out kind of like a branding for this specific client. So this is how you become super clear about your project as a video editor. Okay, the next thing you want to do to become more creative is to consume the right content. And why do you want to do that? You want to do it for inspiration. So what you want to do first is build an inspiration folder, or just kind of like just put together a big dump of inspiration for your next projects or for your next clients. So what this means, you can save designs, animations, and also videos and kind of like motion graphics that you like or you find really good or inspiring in this case. And also what I can recommend is websites like Behance, Dribbble, or Pinterest. I'm going to open them up now and I'm going to show you around. So for example, if we go on Behance, you can go and explore. And if you're going to explore, you can go to filter, creative fields, and then you can just go to motion graphics. So if you see here, 10,000 plus results, there will be a lot of results for motion graphics. And what you can do now is you can just go through here and just click through a couple projects. For example, I like this one, Rescue Bag. That's what's called. And then you can just see there's this big file that people just add here, or pictures that people add, and then you can just kind of just go through it and see how they have created this. And then you can get inspired by this creative process, first of all, or by just one element that they added, or one video, or one little like thing that they added to the video that you find cool, and you can just say, okay, well, I like this. So for example, here, I like how the fire looks. This looks super cool. And I also like how these stones can create like a really cool transition between like two animations. I also like this here. Like this graph looks totally cool. The background looks really cool. And with this, I can explain numbers very, very easily, I think. So yeah, I like this. Wow, this looks cool as well. These are like very, very cool. I think the touch with the background and also with like his legs and all that stuff, this looks just so cool and tell the story so much better. It's kind of like you know what is happening here, and it's like so insanely like creative. I really like it. And then here you can always like click on this and just watch it. I'm not gonna watch this right now, but you get the point. Next one is like, for example, Logitech. So if you go here, then you can just get inspired by Logitech's design maybe. So, oh, I like this this yellow spring here, whatever this is called, or this one here as well. This looks very cool. So this is how they created this racing wheel. So I think I could definitely take like inspirations for this for like a minimalistic edit where we kind of like recreate this style with this cream background and just having like these lines all over the place, or these circles, or these whatever chess figures that you can see here. This looks like very, very cool in my opinion. I like the shake that they added. It makes it so much more dynamic. So whenever you go through these projects, like even if you just take 10 minutes per day in your morning before you start editing, you get just so much more positive inspiration for your editing work, even if it has nothing to do, like this niche and this thing has nothing to do with my animations maybe, because this Logitech racing wheel and this Rescue Bags animation stuff has nothing to do with my animations. But again, these things doesn't have to have anything to do with your animations, but they have maybe certain elements that you can apply to your animations, but you've never maybe seen before, or maybe you've never ever thought of. So this is super, super important that you always just expose yourself to art from other people who are creative as well, because then you can just see what you can apply to your work as well and make it more stand out, or make it even better than what you've just seen here. Maybe you're just blending in like this tiger with the orange background. This is like so creative. This is also so cool. I could think of now making an actual window animation. Like this looks so dope. I kind of like got like super creative right now and had like a thought like, okay, well, what if storytelling wise I could just make like a window and just have like stars and all that stuff move around and wiggle around in After Effects. It's so filling. And the same goes for Dribble as well. If you go to Dribble, then you can go to animations, and then once you're here, you can just kind of like hover around here and get, even just by the design, just by the pictures, you can get inspired and kind of like recreate those animations as well. For example, this pin code animation. Whoa, this is so cool. We can definitely recreate this in in After Effects and just like in 3D. Have like the scale go in the middle. This looks very cool. I really like this. And then you can even just bookmark it. And then once you save the video, what you can do is just create a folder on your PC and just dump all the stuff in there. And then when you have a project that you are kind of stuck, then you can just go ahead. Whenever you can kind of get stuck, you can just visit that folder or have it opened up next to your second monitor. I know you have a second monitor because you are an editor, okay? So you probably have a second monitor. And just look at it. And then if you have like hundreds of animations in there, it's like no way that you will not get inspired and have some creative animation that you come up with. So even like if you take step number 2 already, that's already enough probably from this video. But I'm going to show you step number 3 in a moment. But before that, I'm going to show you Pinterest. So for example, if you go on Pinterest and just type in animation and just maybe watch, okay? Or animation, and maybe you can type in actually routine, okay? Let's just say routine, and because that's more tangible, I would say. And you just go here to videos. Then what you find is there will be like a lot of random stuff. Of course, yes, but there will be also animations, I would say inspiring for you. Depends, of course, also on your client. But there will be probably animations that you could also recreate within your own style for your clients as well. Okay, so she's running on a treadmill. Oh, this was cool. Have you seen that? Instead of like the cream here, and you just swipe this right, is you could just open up the next routine. So if he talks about, okay, this is my 3-step routine or my 6-step routine, you can have all of them like blurred out or covered. And when you just hover this over to the right, then it just unfolds and just opens up, for example. So this is something that I would definitely try out. So you can just create like a pin here, like animations, and you can make it like secret, whatever. Let me know if we should create like a community pin, whatever. That will be probably cool as well, with like all the nice and creative animations that you find on Pinterest. But I just don't really want to like encourage you to go to Pinterest and just dump scroll through like all the pins. But if it would help, I would technically say then it makes sense. I just don't want to like you then just watch like other Pinterest. And then we can have like aesthetic added to it. But I like that they added like the Apple folder, because a lot of people know the Apple folder. Maybe if we scroll here, we can even find more animations. This one looks really cool. This is not an animation, but this is a design. So even by then, I can just see like, okay, well, this would be a really cool branding color, maybe even for me, because it's orange, it's dark, it's black. And then here on the next side, there's like even colors that I could use, branding gradient. So literally, if you're not utilizing Pinterest, then I guess you're missing out. So I can definitely recommend Pinterest to you. And I know I've mentioned Pinterest in one of my other videos, which was all the assets you need as a video editor. But since then, again, it has not really changed. I really like to use Pinterest to get more inspired and just see for myself, okay, what can I actually add into my clients' work? Because chances are what you have created, other people have already created. So you will not probably be super innovative. So you'll probably not innovate a lot with your editing, but rather what you can do is help people understand the concept, especially if you're educating people within your videos. And you can definitely do that by getting inspired by people who are creating amazing and really great stuff and just saving it. For example, here on Pinterest, you can just save image and then just drag and drop that into an inspiration folder. And by the way, if you want an inspiration folder, then let me know. I can create one and then just give it away for free if you want to within the next videos. But yeah, with that said, this was Behance, Dribble, and Pinterest. There are a lot more. So if you, again, want to follow up with all the assets you need as a video editor, and then I can just share more of these websites, then let me know. But what you want to do, again, is just get a lot of inspiration. Make sure to download it. Preferably you save it on your PC, because then you don't have to open up the Chrome browser and get maybe distracted by Pinterest algorithm, or get distracted by the Behance or Dribble algorithm, because it's really just a big deep hole. When you open up, you just want to consume it all day long because it's so creative. It is so much dopamine that goes into your brain and just forms in your brain when you see these things that people create. But then when you just see these things and dopamine forms, then you kind of don't really want to create it yourself and again anymore, because the creation process is less fun than just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, because there is less dopamine involved. So make sure to save it in your library on your PC, because then over time you will have like a big library. You will have never ever an issue again finding the right inspiration for your video. And then bonus tip as well is, when you have a client that you work with, make sure to maybe make a folder for this client and just have an inspiration just for this client. Just for example, for the channel that I work for, so I have also a inspiration folder with like minimalistic and simplistic and friendly animation ideas. So whenever I want to animate something and I don't have an idea of what I want to animate, I can just go in that folder and get inspired for minimalistic, friendly, and simplistic animations. So I have pretty much a lot of inspiration within that folder. Whenever I don't have any ideas, I just go in there and I find a lot of ideas. At least one idea that I can use for this particular project. And usually my first 1, 2, 3 ideas are the best ideas as well. So I'm just gonna go with those ASAP to get a lot more things done. But yeah, besides that, what I want you to do is also watch the right content. So what I want you to do is focus on the videos that inspire or teach you. So for example, if you admire, for example, Apple's clean designs, or you admire the Apple design style. I know a lot of people have made videos on liquid glass, so a lot of people have watched it. I also think of making a video about it because I have also a way to do that. However, if you like Apple's clean designs, then just study videos about that. There are so many tutorials on how to animate like Apple, how to design like Apple, etc., etc. Just make sure to bookmark those and just go through them one by one and just learn everything you can know about that style and watch that content instead of, just all the other content that won't bring you near your goal. And the next thing is you want to break down what you like. Now I have a graphic for this, which will make it a little more easier to understand it. And I'm actually going to show you a practical example. But what I want you to do is whenever you see an animation, a design, I want you to go through it and see what you like about the animation, or what you like about the color, or what you like about the organization or the placement, whatever it is. What do you like about the design? So think of it like a layer. And to make it easier for you to understand, I have brought this graphic here, very simple. So think of it as like layers. So whenever you see a design or a video, people have probably created this in different layers. Like for example, in Premiere Pro, they have like the background, there is probably like the focus point, and there's like probably just some assets that are added to it. And you can just break down what you like about this design layer for layer. So just an example, okay, this will be a very, very weird example for a video editing type of video, but just let's just say we go to the Apple website. This is the Apple website, and what do you like about this website? What do you like about this design? So for me, I like how consistent they are. I like how the text here is white, then there is gray, and then there's blue, and there's white again. It's the same font. Maybe there is just a bit more thick because it's the title, and then there's a bit less thick, and then this is the third. So the hierarchy is like very, very easy to read. You definitely know what to first look at, what to first read, and also like the simplicity and the minimalistic look of how the iPhone is being shown here with the black background that contrasts really good the orange. So I really like the orange and the black color, and then also like that they added blue because they have always blue for learn more or pre-order. And then here, if we talk about the iPhone again, next one is like iPhone Air. I like how they showcase the concept with how thin it actually is. And here, the next thing, I like how showcase that these phones are like more playful, more friendly, and they have more colors by just showing like all the iPhones in like a very, very friendly way as well. And I like how they don't have so much stuff around the screen. There's like a lot of blank space here. The reason is because the focus is here in the middle. You don't want to really have the eyes go all the way around because there is nothing there. You see, there is no reason to make that happen, like to add something there. And here as well, it's super simplistic on how they show the products and like call what this actually is, like AirPods Pro 3, and then of course add some nice fact about it. It's like the world's best in-ear active noise cancellation, or the ultimate way to watch your health, or the personal beast, or walk it, talk it, track it, love it. So it is super, super easy to understand what every single column here is about. There is nothing too much on this page for every single column. It just feels like every single box has its own purpose, and its purpose is already fully utilized. There is nothing missing pretty much. And if you want to learn more, you can always go to the main website, which is also very, very nice. When you break down what you like, for example, here, it is just so much easier for you to understand, okay, what do I actually like, what I don't like, and what you can improve within your edits, or what you can add to your edits. Now, maybe your edit doesn't include phones, but what you could do maybe is have like a complete dark background and just have like maybe just an orange item shown on it, and kind of like this. And then have like just some text explaining what is like visible on screen or what your subject is saying. And then you can just kind of like take that and apply it to your video, or maybe apply like the consistency or the secondary color, for example, here. But with that said, this is how you break it down layer by layer, what you like about design, animation, motion graphics, editing, sound design, whatever that is. Just kind of like break it down into layers and just see for yourself what you like it and what you can take for your project, and also if you want to just save that design as well. Because I want you to avoid binge watching and just instead pick a few videos that you can daily watch maybe, and then just analyze them. So what I want you to do is whenever you have like a style that you are going for this client, then maybe just see what other competitors or people who have the same style are doing and animating. For example, if people want minimalistic videos like Ali Abdaal, then just watch what Ali Abdaal is doing and just break down the videos. Why does it work? Why do they add stuff? And for example, I have actually made a video about that, so you can check out. I have actually 2 videos probably by now made about that. So 2 Ali Abdaal animation tutorials. You can check them out. I will add them somewhere at the top here, and also below this video I will add like a watch now button, so that you can definitely know how to animate like Ali Abdaal after watching that video. So this is how you can consume the right content for inspiration. The third thing is I want you to use AI to boost your creativity when needed. So you don't want to use AI for every single thing, because most people are just, I heard, getting dumber and dumber and just think less and less. And I think I'm also one of them, because we use AI like ChatGPT, like Claude, or whatever AI you use to think for us. We use AI to think for us. So it is super, super important that we don't use AI just to do everything for us, to think for us, and delegate every single thing so we don't have to think again. And if we talk to people, we have to ask AI like what to answer. No. We want to use AI to help us, but not really to think for us, okay? But in this case, whenever you have a video and you don't know what to animate for this exact line, and you can't find any real good inspiration for this kind of concept that you want to showcase as an animation, for example, then what you can do is just use tools like ChatGPT, for example, that can help you just create a design concept. It will not create an animation for you. I'm not saying that. It probably won't for the next foreseeable future, for like a couple months probably, or maybe days, who knows. And what it can do is create a design concept, which I'm going to show you in a second. For example, you can input a text like how to make $1 million with dropshipping. Maybe that's your script that you want to showcase, and then ask it to create a graphic, okay? And I'm going to show you in a second, for example, what I have added to it and what it created for me. But essentially, the AI's graphic might not be perfect, but it can ignite your creativity for your motion graphics design or for motion graphics animation. So let me just give you an example on how I used the ChatGPT tool and just gave it like a couple of different like prompts and just things that I added. And then I used it to create graphics for me. And then I used those graphics to turn that into an animation or a motion graphic. Okay, so I asked him like, hey, can you showcase this concept? And then I just pasted in the script from the video that I wanted to kind of rework. I want to rework that VSL. So I pasted the script from the VSL from Premiere Pro right into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT gave me this, and I was like, whoa, this looks so much better. This is what mine looked like before. And I know this doesn't look like very, very appealing and very, very easy to understand. But this here, for example, looked very, very friendly. And it also looked a lot more professional for a software company, I would say. So I was like, well, how would you improve my version in terms of designs? Because I like this. However, I still couldn't like just touch it. Like, how can I actually take this over and make it kind of like in the same style that I had before? So I want to improve my design. So he was giving me a couple of texts, which I of course didn't read. I just told him like, hey, create a graphic. And then what it came up with next was like really, really good. So I really, really liked it. I actually took this and I created and I reworked this for the animation that I did. So this is what it looked on my end later. So yeah, this is not exactly like, of course, ChatGPT gave me, but again, this is not the point here. I just took over the things that I liked from it and I just applied it to my project. So again, this is how you can use it. And I use this for this project, for example. And then instead of this here, what I had before, it spit out this here. Live chat, Zoom calls. And this is what I have created, for example. So I just use the best parts again from the graphic. And then if you don't like it, you can just tell them like, hey, how can I make it better, more premium? And then just create graphic, and it just added more depth or more, would give it like a little nice outline as well, made like a gradient on the icons. So this is how you can just kind of improve that as well. For example, here, this was from before. I didn't like it. It was like so gray. So what he gave me, even if I didn't like that he stacked it up like more vertical instead of horizontal, what I really liked was the colors here. So I reworked it as well, and this is what it looked like. I just added some more colors, and it actually looked a lot better than I thought. So I just kept it like that. So yeah, this is pretty much how I reworked this VSL with the help of ChatGPT and made the design and also the feel of the VSL a lot more premium in the end. So for example, here I had this subscription, just the last thing I'm going to show, and this is what it gave me. And for example, that's in the very first beginning. This is also exactly what I just added as well. Like I just changed the design for all of these boxes. So yeah, very cool tool. I can definitely recommend it. And also just one thing I want to show as well that you can do if you want to. So what you can also do, which I wanted to really show you because this is how powerful ChatGPT actually can get once you feed it enough informations, is you can technically take screenshot or just dump in all your animations, your graphics, your branding, the website of your client, whatever, like previous video screenshots. You can just add like all of these informations into ChatGPT. For example, this animation that I've created, and then just give it a couple more prompts like you will receive this. This is what the goal here is. This is what our audience is, or whatever that is. And again, just feed it like with as much information as possible, and then just ask, like, for example, here I want to create an icon for a website. So I just fed like all the stuff, the VSLs that I've animated for this website, and then I just gave it like a couple prompts, and at the end, this is what the icons kind of look like. And of course, at the end, they looked also very different. And I'm not going to show you that right now, but this is what ChatGPT has created. ChatGPT has literally saved me probably days of working on these icons. and coloring them, and of course learning Adobe Illustrator to actually make this in Adobe Illustrator, and then just figuring out how to make stuff. And yeah, it's just saved me so much time, and it looks even better than I have actually expected to be. So this is literally what ChatGPT has created for me, and it's helped me tremendously in order to improve my design, because it can give you feedback on your designs or on your video. It is so powerful. I will make a video just about ChatGPT as well, like how you can utilize ChatGPT and its feedback to even get feedback on your video or your design. I will show you exactly how to do that, or how I use ChatGPT in different forms even more. I just wanted to give you like a little glimpse. But what I want to say is that AI's graphic will not be perfect, and most usually they will have like stuff added that you don't need. Will have titles, subtitles, or maybe details added that you don't need. The goal is not to create the animation with that, but the goal is to get inspiration for the concept that you're trying to explain. So take the script or take the line that you want to animate and put the line into ChatGPT, and then just ask it like, hey, here's the branding that I have, here's the transcript, the line for the video that I have. I want to create an animation. How can I explain this concept in animation? And just hit enter, and then let's see what it does. If it explains like a big text for you, then just say create a graphic. Just create a graphic for me, man. I don't need you to explain it to me. And then boom, it will give you a graphic if you like it, if you don't like it. If it's too simplistic, or it's maybe if it's too elegant or maybe less simplistic, then you can just tell him to adjust that and just work with ChatGPT on that, on the graphic. And then once you like the graphic, you can just gather the resources from whatever website, Freepik, whatever, and then just animate that out in After Effects, okay? Because I think this is almost the fastest way to spark new ideas and inspiration, and also to save time for your editing work and workflow. But yeah, use AI to boost creativity. And the next thing you can do, the fourth step, is to change your routine for better focus. Because I think most of the time when I am uncreative, I also just procrastinate a lot. And this is when I just shift from making into consuming mode, and then I just get lost and just bury myself into YouTube videos, or bury myself into Pinterest or whatever. And I really don't want that this happens to you. So this is why I can recommend one thing that I noticed, that when I change, I get a lot more done. And also I'm more creative as well when I'm doing this, which is changing my routine. And changing your routine starts with setting clear goals. So what is that? So whenever you wake up, you have to already have decided, or decide when you wake up, on what you want to achieve at that day by a specific time. So for example, 1 p.m. or 5 p.m. So when you start at 6 a.m. to work, or 7 a.m. or 9 a.m. to work, what do you want to have achieved by 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 a.m., 1 p.m.? 1 p.m. is a really good time because that's when most people go to like just eat something. But what do you want to have achieved by 1 p.m.? Just write it down and just literally just focus solely on that task. No distractions, nothing. Just focus on that task. And also one thing I tried a little bit for a week was the $100 million routine. So what is that $100 million routine? This sounds so fancy. This is Alex Hormozi's routine that he used to achieve so much in his life. So he made $100 million in one day. So what is the routine that he used? Well, what he did is he woke up. You've probably heard of it, but this is so funny. When he woke up, he made himself some coffee, and he blinded out like all the lights that comes into his closet or his room, whatever he was working in. And he just started literally working on the most important thing. And he didn't eat from the first thing in the morning. He didn't work out the first thing in the morning. He just put in earplugs. So earplugs and then headphones. For us, earplugs wouldn't make too much sense, I would say, because we have to kind of hear the voice. So what I can recommend is just get headphones that have like noise cancellation. So you just kind of like completely shut off from the outside world, and then just get yourself some caffeine if you want to. You don't really have to, but just blind out like all the lights in your room. Like literally just have your computer lights on, nothing else, just your computer lights that you're working on, and just start working on the video and just your next task. This is literally like a routine where you block out every single distraction. You throw out your phone out of your room, you put it on do not disturb, and then until you're done with that task, you just just don't stop working on it, essentially, until it's like 1 p.m. and you're like, okay, well, now I get something to eat or something like that, or my first work block is over, now I go work out or whatever. Until that, just make sure that you block out every single distraction to get that done, because this is how you get ahead in life, and is also how you get also more creative, because the more you are away from distraction, like your outside world, like your phone, like whatever else it is, then you can just focus on what really matters to you in that moment the most, which is just getting that work done or putting your creativity out there. So this routine boosts focus and thus also your creativity, which makes you just work faster and get a lot more done in less time. And yeah, let me know if you guys want a routine or like a before and after Alexa Moses routine. I really want to try out again Alexa Moses routine. I didn't do it completely like correct. I had a couple of days where I just slipped off a little bit and I maybe just didn't close my blinds, whatever. But I already felt a lot more locked in within that time. So if you want like a 7-day or a 30-day Alexa Moses like $100 million routine video where I tried as a video editor, then just comment down below. If just one guy comments that I should do this, I'm gonna heart your comment. I'm actually gonna do this like the week after that probably. So make sure to let me know in the comment down below. So yeah, this is how changing your routine can help you to focus better. And then a couple bonus tips here is get inspired by movies and animations. And I can explain that because I can recommend to watch movies with a really good intention. Like great movies would have great animations, or great series, or like great shows who have like great animations, and just study their technique and study their animations and study why they actually choose to animate maybe some stuff like that. So I have an example. Just notice how they do transitions, how they do effects, or how they use animations in the storytelling. And then just maybe take screenshots or a picture and apply these ideas to your own projects. So I can actually talk about a Netflix show that I actually saw a couple of days ago, or like 2 days ago. You will not believe this, but this is actually a Korean romance show, whatever. It actually sounded so cool that I actually chose to watch this. I'm not like a romance guy. I didn't watch it for a romance, but I'm not sure how you grew up, but I like Gordon Ramsay. I find it super funny when he goes around and he's like just going nuts on people and telling like, hey man, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Like, how can you possibly have this like this in the kitchen, whatever. So we're just watching this K-drama, I guess, Korean drama, and they had like so many interesting animations for just explain the cooking or explain the degree that water has. And the animation was like so insanely creative that I got so inspired by it to actually use it on my own project and just kind of like apply it with my own style or with this client's branding to it. And just by watching movies and animations that has this very playful and very nice animations or motion graphics added to it can just give you so much more, I would say, joy to watch it, but also so much more creativity in your own editing work. And this is like the best, I think, about all the worlds. Like most people watch this Netflix and they just watch it for entertainment, which I'm also like doing the same, of course, as well. But then we can also utilize watching it and kind of like just justify it by just getting some inspiration by the music, or getting inspiration for the animations, or by the transitions. Like, it's insane. And the next point is get inspired by the world around you. But what I want you to do is I want you to open your eyes and your mind towards your present now around you, okay? Sounds super spiritual. It is not, okay? I promise. So, because today I was just like kind of looking around. I was working on my couch on a laptop because today I had my fiance next to me on laptop. She was on her laptop. She was doing something for school, whatever. And I was working on my laptop. And on the couch, we were on the couch sitting, and she was on my left. And I was just barely like kind of like seeing what she was creating in Canva for her school. And I looked at her screen, and her screen had like so beautiful like just graphics, and it was like super friendly. So it turned out it was, of course, made for like kids. So she's a teacher, so she makes kind of like these presentations for kids, I assume. And then her whole presentation was like in a very, very playful color. It has like very playful elements to it. And I was like, wow, this looks like so playful and so friendly. I got like very hooked to it and I couldn't just watch away. I got like so much dopamine from just watching like her Canva presentations and then just building it. And I was like, well, if you can just maybe make a screenshot of it and just send it off to me, like email, or just make a folder and just send it off to me, it would mean the world for me, because this is exactly what I want for one of the channels that I work for. So this is literally like the style that we want, okay? Not for kids per se, but the animations are so playful and so nice and so friendly that people just can't look away. They won't click off the video if they see all of these animations, and especially if they are more professional as well. Okay, so I want you to take notes or pictures and just save them in a folder for later. And this doesn't have to happen like that. This was just like one-time incidents, but also I can also tell you, like, when I went to the bookstore, I saw like a lot of graphics and books that had like these insane and good-looking graphics, and you can just take away, and you can just drag inspiration from book cover, and you can just go into a board game store where they sell these board games, what most people used to play with, I guess, before the internet. I don't know, I grew up with the internet. So, and on these board games, like boxes, there are like all these nice animations. You can take those graphics as inspiration for your animations as well. Especially, and I'm saying that because I had one inspiration from that as well. So this is unlimited. Like, there's so much stuff around you that you can take inspiration from. You really just have to kind of like slow down for a minute before you think of the future, before you think of the past, and kind of just look around you and just kind of like soak in what you see and kind of just break down what you see. For example, I can see my softbox, and my softbox has these grids on it, so it just shines on me. So maybe I can just put some grids on my animation, maybe. So that could look cool. I see my nice metal cup, whatever it is. Maybe I can also create this metal texture as well. So whenever I showcase maybe like a drink cup, or I can also add maybe these metrics here, like milliliter and ounce, I guess, as well. So that's something I could also do. And I couldn't have never thought of it, or maybe I could have never got any good ideas in the future if I wouldn't have noticed it now. So noticing is thinking, and then thinking is ideas creating, and then ideas creating is you being creative. And then you being creative is you creating creative stuff. Okay, enough. Besides creativity and all that stuff, if you actually want to get clients as an editor, make sure to join the Editing Elite. First link down below. All right, so these were steps that I take to become infinitely creative as a video editor. If you want this presentation that I just broke down here and like all the links within the presentation, then click the second link in the description, because the second link has this whole presentation given for you for completely free. I don't charge anything for this. And if you are a video editor who want to make more money with editing, you want to get more clients, and you want to get actually high tickets, high paying clients, then make sure to click the first link down below and join the Editing Elite, where I teach you how to go from literally zero to 5K or even 6K per month. Okay. With that said, I will see you inside the Editing Elite. And yeah, God bless you. Have a nice day.